Hi everyone, Stephen Edwards again. So thank you for getting this far into the Business Kickstarter course. I'm hoping you're learning quite a lot. A lot of it might seem fairly common sense, but the whole point of this course is we bring it all together. It's not scattered all around the internet. I'm using my experience of starting my own business and helping lots of other people start their business to put it all together for you in one place. Some of these modules are small, some of them are bigger, like the marketing module, but we're covering all the important things that you need to know. So what I want to talk about is a very common question that people often ask us in our accounting business is, do I need a business bank account? Very simple question. The answer is maybe yes, maybe no. So it depends on your business structure. So let's just make this nice and simple, so we can, process of elimination, so you can really draw the lines and see where I'm coming from. If you are a limited company, the answer is yes, you need a business bank account. Because if you watch the business structure module, we talked about a limited company not being you. It's a different entity. Think of it as a different person. It's not you. So if you formed a limited company, you might own it, you might be the shareholder, it's your limited company, but it's still not you. So it needs its own bank account. Think of it as a separate person. If you are a sole trader or an individual, let's say you're a sole trader, you're self-employed, and you later set up a limited company, you can't use your old bank account. We've seen this happen quite a lot, because it might be a business account, but it's not in the name of the limited company, because when you set it up, it was you as an individual. When you create a limited company, when you form a limited company, you need a completely new bank account, okay? So that's nice and straightforward, no grey areas. Limited company, get your own bank account. If you don't get your own bank account as a limited company, it could actually cost you a lot of money in tax. The reason for it is any profit you've made is treated as if you've taken it all out of the business, because it's in your bank account. So if you've made £100,000, you're personally going to pay tax on £100,000. because it's not kept in that limited company bank account, it's kept in your bank account. So it can actually cost you more tax. If that's not a big enough incentive, I don't know what is really. And we've actually seen this cost people tax. That's a huge issue. Ultimately, if you take the money out of your business, you've got to pay tax anyway. And we talk about income tax and corporation tax in a separate module. But you want to have some form of control. So definitely get a bank account if you're a limited company. If you're not a limited company, if you're a self-employed person, so a sole trader or partnership, then it's a good idea, definitely a really good idea, to have a dedicated bank account for your business. So I was very careful how I worded that. A dedicated bank account for your business. I didn't say a business bank account. So there's a difference. So a dedicated bank account for your business can be any account. It can be a spare personal account. It can be a new personal account. It can be just anything you want to channel, to flush all of your business transactions through, okay? The difference is when you go into the bank and say, can I open a business bank account? They will charge you a monthly fee. They'll probably charge you anything between £5 to £15 every single month. You shop around, you tend to get 6 months to 2 years of free business banking, but then they're going to charge you. Obviously you can move, a bit like people, again with their gas and electric bill, but do you really want to keep on moving your business bank account? It's not something I'd recommend, to be honest. So you can use basically a ring-fence designated personal account for your business. There's nothing illegal about that. Some people think that this is wrong, that it's illegal. It's not illegal. You don't have to have a business bank account. The only people you can upset if it's against their rules and their terms is the bank itself, okay? There's nothing illegal about using your own bank account for business, particularly if it's not a limited company. So that's not a problem. Of course, they're going to try and push you to have a business bank account because they can charge you, okay? I mean, if anything, it's going to help you putting this all through a bit personal bank account because it's going to help your credit rating. Although, to be honest, it should help your credit rating regardless what bank account you're using if it's not a limited company. So, limited company, yes. Self-employed, I would definitely recommend, but it's not essential. You don't have to. It links into your bookkeeping. If you're a self-employed person and you're using some bookkeeping software, we've talked about Xero, we've talked about QuickBooks, and you get all of that set up, then to make your bookkeeping easier, you can connect your bank account to the software. If you don't have a bank account, you've got nothing to connect. If you're self-employed and you didn't set up a bank account used purely for business, there's nothing to connect it to the software. So it's a lot harder to get all of your transactions into the software if you don't have a bank account. If you have a ring-fenced, dedicated bank account, it's far easier from a bookkeeping perspective. And also, if you don't do any bookkeeping, which I wouldn't recommend, if you just leave it till the end of the year, with no bank account, you might have 100 different places. You've got to go back and find out what your expenses were. Is it in this email account, that email account? Was it through my PayPal? Was it in cash? Have I got this receipt? Was it through that credit card, that bank account, this credit card? Did my friend buy it before me? There's so many different places you need to gather all the information. If you just put it all through one bank account, it's going to be so much easier at the end of the year to do your bookkeeping if you don't do anything month to month as you go along. If you look at the bookkeeping module, I recommend getting bookkeeping software generally, just because of the way the government's going with making tax digital, with how easy and efficient the software can make your bookkeeping. But you don't have to, as it stands, as I'm recording this video in 2019, you don't currently have to have dedicated bookkeeping software. I certainly recommend it, Xero or QuickBooks, but you don't have to. So if you have that dedicated bank account, it's a backup for you regardless if you have the software or not. So where else can an accountant help you? Well, a good accountant might be more than a number cruncher, more than a tax person. They might be a sounding board for your business. I mean, if I'm honest, generally accountants are not going to be that honest about how good your business is in that first meeting, because most accountants probably want you as a client. They're not going to, that's not a secret, is it? You're going to see them for their free meeting. They're going to want you to use them as a client in the future. So if you're coming with this big, bold business idea and they think it's pants, they're not going to tell you it's pants because they don't want to upset you. But a real good accountant who's got the knowledge, got the experience, you can potentially use as a business sounding board. I would advise you to ask them more questions. Ask them for some honest feedback. Say, in your honest opinion, this business idea, this business I've researched, this business I'm about to start or I want to start, have you seen similar businesses? How successful were they? What challenges did they have? What's your opinion? Do you think it's got a good chance of succeeding? And hopefully they'll give you some honest advice. So particularly if you're a small business, it can be quite isolating. It can be just you, quite lonely. You've got no one to pick their brains apart from family members who might not have experience in that sort of area of starting a business. An accountant can be a sounding board, second head, give you some ideas. Obviously you're here, you're watching this course, I'm here to support you. The whole reason I started these courses was to act as a coach, as a form of mentor, as a consultant, all wrapped into one for small businesses. A lot of small businesses don't invest money and time in things they think are not essential because they're so focused on the short term, they're focused on cash flow. The thing is, you don't know what you don't know. So you don't realise you can benefit from advice from somebody else. So until you get that advice from somebody else, you don't realise you don't know what you don't know. So, I'm glad you're here. You're obviously, you're not the sort of person to, if you're watching this, to shirk from honest feedback, because you're investing in your time, you're doing everything you can do to make it success. So yeah, so what I was getting at as an accountant can help direct you on that path initially. Obviously a business coach, you're watching this, you're here with us, a business coach can also help you. Coaching is more about helping you find the answers. A consultant is more about telling you exactly how to do things, and obviously a consultant can be in anything really, but an accountant should be, a good accountant will be level-headed and help push you in the right direction. Obviously their job is to make sure predominantly everything gets submitted to HMRC, gets submitted to Companies House, and also possible to save you money. And then thirdly, a good one will give you some good business advice. So I hope that's been useful and look forward to you watching the rest of the course. Cheers guys.